you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. That's what I said. So what's going on, man? This is Mr. Pac with the TMP Podcast, and we're doing this live, man. This is an official episode, live. This is gonna be an official episode. So can I turn on my light? Can you guys see me better? Um, I want to welcome everybody to the TMP Podcast. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is a live episode. I'm not gonna record this and go back and, you know, um, edit and do all that stuff. I'm not gonna do that. This is gonna be a live episode. And I hope everybody enjoys this episode. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday because today is Sunday, November 2. And I can't believe that the year is almost over. The year is almost over, people. I can't really believe that. And I feel good in a way because, if you went through the whole year and stuff went the way it was supposed to go for you, salute to you. A lot of stuff didn't go how I wanted to go, but a lot of stuff did go smooth for me. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff did go smooth for me. And that's why I'm thankful. And we should be thankful every day, man. Like I said, I've been saying this every time I go live, every time I do an episode. We should just be thankful that we wake up every day, to make it better. But, the year's almost over. So I hope if everything that you had planned this year, if it didn't happen, but at least some of the stuff that you had planned happened, you should be glad. You should be, thankful. You should salute yourself because, sometimes we make plans. Sometimes we have a goal like, this year's about to end, and we say, 2026, I'm gonna go, harder than 2025. I'm gonna do better things on 2026 that I did on 2025. And then sometimes, we don't do none of that. So when you have stuff that you had, when you had goals for the next year and you accomplish some of those goals, you should be proud of yourself. You should salute yourself. You should be like, what, at least I accomplished some of the stuff that I said I was gonna accomplish, because there's years where we say that we're gonna do shit and we don't do shit. So, so if you're one of those persons, if you're one of those, persons that really accomplish everything you said you were gonna accomplish, well, that's a big pat on your back, salute to you, all the, the nothing but blessings for you, because it's hard. It's hard to, accomplish stuff that you want to accomplish sometimes because stuff gets in the way. Stuff gets in the way and it's not easy. Some of us, we go through hard times, not hard times, like money wise, but, sentimental wise, or, like there's a lot of stuff that gets in the way, but we attempt, or we're always on that grind to, what I mean, to get it done. So, like I said, I just wanted to start off this episode with that if you're one of the people that really accomplished some of the stuff that you said you were going to accomplish, salute to you. And yeah, man, just everything's been changing. A lot of stuff's been changing. A lot of crazy stuff's been going on. A lot of stuff that we never thought it was gonna happen, or stuff that we heard that it was gonna happen. And you know how we are sometimes, that we say nothing's gonna happen, or oh, they're saying they're gonna take off the food stamps, and they ain't taking off the food stamps. They've been talking that, they've been saying that for years, for years, for years, and it never happens. So now it happened, and a lot of people are going crazy, and I get it, because there's a lot of people that do need, the food stamps. There's a lot of people that do depend on the food stamps, because they don't have no other way. They don't have a way to, earn. So they depend on those food stamps. And there's a lot of people too that, you know, they get the food stamps and, you know, they really, have a way to fucking grind, and they still depend on those food stamps, you know. And I don't blame them, you know, I don't blame anybody, you know, but you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like I said, it's crazy that we hear this kind of stuff and then it happens and people freak out. It's like the pandemic. Remember the pandemic when everybody was going crazy that they said, oh, this virus was going to go on and nobody believed it? And I was one of those people that I didn't fucking believe nothing that was gonna fucking nothing that they were talking about. I didn't believe it, and then it happened, and we were like, "What the fuck?" But now you look back and you're like, "Damn, bro! Like I can't believe I used to wear a mask everywhere I go. You know, I can't believe they were, you know, stuff was, you know, going out of fucking stock in fucking stores. You know, like toilet paper, you know, hand sanitizer, you know, stuff that you don't imagine that you need, you know, stuff that you don't think that you really need. And when it's gone, you're like, damn, like, what the fuck? Like, I can't get fucking toilet paper. I can't get fucking, sanitizer. I can't get no fucking, disinfectant spray, you know, like stuff like that. So that's why we hear it all the time. And I don't know if y'all's parents or, you know, people old, like, you know, like OGs, you know, that when they give you fucking lectures and stuff like that, that they tell you, you know what, appreciate what you have. You know what I mean? Don't take everything for granted. You know, like everything that you have, you got to appreciate it, because when you don't have it, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like there's stuff that you don't think you need until you need it, if it makes any sense. You know what I mean? And it's true. You know, it's just true. It's just the facts of life, that little stuff that right now that you have, you don't fucking see like you need it, but then when you don't have it, you're like, damn, I can't believe I I needed this. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happening, like I said, that we never thought it was going to happen, and now that it's happening, we are like, what the fuck, you know, like we're like, what the fuck's going on? But you know, that's why, like I said, just we just got to prepare ourselves for everything. You know, we always got to think ahead. We always got to be a step ahead of everything. You know, that's what I've learned in life. You know, as I've grown, as I've, you know, gotten older, I've learned, like I said, because you hear this all the time. Your parents tell you, you know, you hear it in lectures all the time, you know, that hey, you always got to be a step ahead. And sometimes we're like, for what, you know, like I don't need to be a step ahead, you know, I already know what I'm gonna do. But there it's nothing wrong with being one step ahead all the time, you know, like thinking what's going to happen tomorrow, not tomorrow, what's going to happen in a month, what's going to happen in 6 months, what is going to happen in a year, you know what I mean? So those are the kind of thoughts that we supposed to have in our heads, that what's going to happen, you know, in a year or two, or where am I going to be 5 years from now, you know what I mean? And when you're young, you really don't think about none of that. You might think about it, but you don't really take action for any of that. You just think about it. You know, you just think about it. You're like, damn, what's gonna happen? You know, where am I gonna be in fucking 5 years? What am I gonna do when I'm fucking 30? Where am I gonna be when I'm fucking 40? You know, and we say a lot of stuff like, you know, oh, I'm gonna do this, you know, I'm gonna be rich by fucking 35, or I'm gonna have a mansion by 40, you know, where I'm when I'm fucking 50, when I'm retired, I'm gonna be fucking, you know, in an island somewhere, you know, which is good that we have all these, good thoughts, you know, all these good plans, but are you really, you know, making stuff happen? You know, are you really getting prepared for those moments, for that time? You know, and like I said, it goes back to what I was saying, that there's stuff that gets in the way. You know, not everything that you plan is going to go as planned. Not everything that say that you're gonna do, it's gonna happen, because that's just life. Life, there's shit that gets in the way. I get it, but it's a good thing, man. Like I said, I know a lot of you youngsters, I know a lot of you young people out there, you guys say that you're gonna do something and you are doing it and you guys are making it happen. And I salute you. Like I said, I salute you because I seen it. I got kids too, and some of my kids, they doing it. They making shit happen. And that just makes me proud, and it kind of makes me feel more like in peace, like if something happens to me, like, what, I know that some of my kids, they're already on that mentality, like, what, I'm making shit happen. I'm fucking investing in this, I'm investing in that. I'm not just spending my fucking money out here just for no reason. I'm not gonna fucking, you know be blowing out whatever stuff that I have just for the fuck of it. I mean, and we like to have fun. We like to have fun. We like to go out. We like to fucking party. But you gotta invest. You gotta save. You gotta make sure that you are looking towards the future. You can't just be out there fucking doing stupid shit, getting into fucking problems. And then, when you realize that you're fucking 30, 40 years old and you're like, what the fuck? Like, my life just fucking, I just threw my life away. But like I said, it happens. Not everybody has the same mentality. Not everybody, you know, uh, thinks like that. But for the people that think like that, for the people that really, you know, uh, are doing something about their future, I salute you. And there's nothing wrong, like I said, if you don't have to, you know, be like perfect. You don't have to fucking, you know, be saving your money all the time. It's good for you to save your money, but I mean, you can have some fun. You could do some dumb shit here and there. I mean, like I said, it's just life. That's just the way it is. But like I said, just think about the future. Think about what you are doing. Think about, you know, any step that you're gonna take. It's like when you're walking, you're just not gonna fucking, if you know there's a lot of rocks and a lot of fucking potholes and shit that you're gonna be tripping over with, you're just not gonna walk through there and just like, fuck it, if I fall, I fall. Like, no, like, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I could fall. If I walk through here, I could fall. So, you just gotta fucking, watch your every step, and just be cautious, man, because the world is changing. The world is, like I said, we're seeing a lot of stuff that we didn't think we were going to see, man. There's a lot of stuff going on that we thought that it was never going to happen, and it's happening. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that, like I said, is just fucking going crazy, man. All the stuff that we're learning, all this new fucking technology, it's just a different ball game, man, for everybody, man. And like I said, a lot of people are not prepared for what's coming, you know, in the future. I mean, nobody knows what the future is gonna bring, but a lot of people, do get prepared. Like I said, mentally prepared. And there's a lot of people that are not mentally prepared for shit that's happening right now. That's why people go crazy. That's why there's a lot of people just, throwing fits and, just going crazy basically, because they don't prepare themselves, or they don't think about, like I was saying earlier, they're not really thinking about the future. They're not thinking about what if. They're not planning for what's going to happen in a month, what's going to happen in 6 months, what's going to happen in a year. So we always got to be thinking ahead of time. We always got to be thinking what if. That what if, that's what we got to have in our minds. What if, this happens? What if, I don't have the money tomorrow? What if uh, I lose this tomorrow? What if, you know what I mean? We always got to have that what if in our heads. And a lot of people might say, like, I'm not going to live like that. I'm not going to be living with what ifs. I'm just going to live, fuck it, a day by day. I'm just going to go I'm just gonna live it how I get it. I just get it how I live, whatever. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, like I said. But I mean, we always gotta have that what if in our minds. You know what I mean? What if this happens? What if we don't have this tomorrow? What if So that's all I wanted to say, man. Like I said, I wanted to do this live episode. This is my first live episode that I do like this. No edits, no nothing. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you were in this live and if you were one of the persons that liked the live, I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. And I'm gonna try to do this more often. You know what I mean? Go live, no edits, just raw, uncut. Fuck it. This is Mr. Pac with the TMP Podcast. And you already know, man. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.